Yes, Shalom Israel. So, this is I.S.U.P.K. Trinidad and Tobago. You know, we started out at 125th Street, Harlem, New York, and today is our Sabbath service. You know, again, this was done, throughout the nation of Israel. In the time where we reside in our homeland, and it was ordained by our forefathers. As in the records to remember the Sabbath and to keep it. But again, the Christian church, took this and made a mess out of it because we lack of understanding. Because again, every other one of these nations took our records and used it in the helping or keeping us under oppression by not knowing, making us no identity. So in that we say, imagine.
Shalom to Israel. Oh, is it real? That's mostly
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
So, Padam, Eastern and Tracy Heats.
You want to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew? Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim,
Kodash,
Ayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Balakwaka, Taba'a, Batazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Barataza, Kawa, Ayah, Ashemaya, Latan, Lanawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalakno, Awakino, Asalakino, Awakino, Wala, Tabiano, Masawan, Bol, Oshaino, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Waka, Abalakwa, Waala, Watapara, Wainomia, Aman.
In the English, O Father,
art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done, in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, and forgive our debtors, and lead us not into temptation, or deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. So be it. We're going to the Hakak, Yahweh, Bashem, Oshai, Abukasha, Latananawa, Akak, Lapara, Kamakala, Wakamadawan, Akak, Lata'a, Amatazarium, Akak, Akwayam, Amatayam, Akak, Ayakawat, Atamala, Lagarishim, Bashem, Oshai, Tawadamam.
In the English, Yahweh,
in
the name of Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh,
He gave us the power,
He gave us the power to heal,
all manner of sickness,
all manner of sickness, and all manner of disease,
for to cleanse the
for to cleanse the
for
lepers,
to raise the dead,
for to raise the dead,
for against unclean spirits,
for against unclean
to cast
spirits,
them out,
to cast them
in the
out.
name of Yahweh,
In the name of Yahweh, thank you.
So be it.
So be it. We're going to say, blessed Israel, Yahweh, Bashem, Oshai, Rachlanawa, Rashala, Abaya, Zaparim, Barak, Rapa, Gun, Bashem, Oshai, Tawadaman.
In the English, Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh. He gave us the power.
Yahweh.
Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Bless us.
Bless us.
And Israel.
And Israel.
And the school.
And the school.
Bless.
Bless.
Heal.
Heal. Shield.
Protect our loved ones.
Protect our loved ones.
In the name of Yahweh.
In the name of Yahweh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So be it.
So be it. In Psalm 121. Ashaya. Ayanya. Al-Hayram. Mayan. Yabara. Isaiah. Mayim. Yahweh. Aisha. Shamawa. Wawasaza. Ayatan. Lamawat. Ragalka. Al-Yanawam. Shamaka. Ana. Laha. Lanawam. Wala'a. Yashashan. Samawa. Yashala. Yahweh. Shamalka. Yahweh. Tazalka. Ayayan. Yamanka. Yawawam. Ashamash. La'a. Yakalka. Wayarash. Yala. Yahweh. Yashamaka. Makalrai. Yashamaka. Anashpaka. Yahweh. Yashamar. Tazalka. Wababaka. Ma'ailta. Waidiam. Waid. Wayam.
In the English. I will lift up my eyes. Unto the hill. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from the Most High. Which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Most High is thy keeper. The Most High is thy shade. Upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day. Nor the moon by night. The Most High shall preserve thee. From all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. The Most High shall preserve thy going out. And thy coming in. From this time forth. Even forevermore.
We're going to say the Psalm 83. Allahayam. Al-Mayalaka. Al-Takarash. Tashakwat. Al-Khaya. Ana. Yaka. Yahtama. Yawan. Ra'ash. Maka. Yamo. Sawada. Wayata. Tazawa. Tazawanka. Mawa. Lakawa. Wana. Yadadam. Magawa. Wala'a. Yazaka. Shamyashala. Wada. Kaya. Nawa. Tazawa. Laba. Yakwa. Wada. Yaka. Bariyat. Yakwa. Ratawa. Alahaya. Alahadewam. Yashamyala. Alayam. Mawa Abba. Waha Garyam. Gabal, Wa'al Mawan, Wa'al Malakwa, Palashat, Al Laban, Al Laban Lanawat, Salah, I.S.H.A.L.A.M, Kamadian, Kasarya, Sarah, Kayabian, Anakal, Kakwasyan, Nasha Madwada, Ayan Daira, Hayawa, Daman, La'a Dama, Ya Tabwa, Nada, Yam, Mawa, Kairam, Waka Zaaba, Waka Zabak, Waka Tazal, Manai, Kal Nasa Yan Kamwa, Asha, Amawa, Na Yasrasha, Lanawa, At, Na Atwa, Alhayam, Alahaya, Shayat Tamwa, Dangala, Kakwash, Lapan Ya Wakat, Kash, Tabaira, Ra'ira, Wakal Lahabat, Talahat, Harayam, Kan Ta'arad Dabmat, Basa Iraka, Wabasa, Wapanka, Tabahalayam, Makala, Pan Yaham, Kwalawan, Waya, Ba Kwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Waya, Bahalwa, Idai, Waya, Kahawa, Waya, Abadwa, Waya, Daiwa, Kaya, Ata, Shamka, Yahawa, Labadka, Ailawan, Kalaha Arataza.
The English.
In English.
Keep not thou silent.
Keep not thou silent. O Mosai.
And hold not thy peace.
And hold not thy peace.
And be not still.
And be not still. O Mosai. For lo, thy enemies. Make it tumult. And they that hate thee.
Lifted up the head.
Are lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel.
They have taken crafty counsel.
Against thy people.
Against thy people.
And consulted.
Against
thy hidden ones.
Against thy hidden ones.
They have said.
Come.
Let us cut them off. From being a nation.
And
the name of Israel.
And the name of Israel.
Be no more remembrance.
And be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted. Together.
With
one consent.
They
are confederate.
Against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom.
And the Ishmaelites.
Of Moab.
And
the
Hagarenes.
Gebal.
Ammon.
And
Amalek.
The Philistines.
With
the inhabitants.
Tyre.
Of Tyre.
Assur.
Also is joined with them.
They are hearkened open.
The children of Lot.
The children of Lot.
Salah. Do unto them.
Do unto them.
As unto the
Midianites. As to the Syria. As to Jabin.
As the brook of Kison.
As the brook of Kison.
Which perished at Endo. They became as dung for the earth.
They came as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles. Like Oreb.
Like Oreb.
Like Zebi.
Like Zebi.
Yea. All the princes.
Zahab. Zaluna.
Who said, let us take to ourselves. The houses of the Most High possession. Who my power. Make them like a wheel. As the stubble before the wind. As the fire burneth a wood. As the flame setteth the mountains on fire. So persecute them. With thy tempest. And make them afraid. With thy storm. Fill their faces with shame. That they may seek thy name. O Most High. Let them be confounded. And troubled. Forever. Yea. Let them be put to shame. And perish. That men may know. That thou. Whose name alone is Yahweh. And the Most High over all the earth. Sir. So again, continuing from the book of Exodus, we left off. Exodus chapter 14. Starting the book of Exodus, chapter 14, and verse 20. and 21. Wayata in the Hebrew. Wayata. Masha. Ata. Yadawa. Ayel. Ayam. Waya. Laka. Yahweh. Ata. Ayam. Bara. Waka. Bara Waka. Quadam. Isaiah. Kala. Hala. Yalaha. Wayasham. Ata. Ayam. Lakara, Baha, Waya, Bakwa, Ayha, Ham, Yam. Waya, Ba'awa, Banaya, Yasharala, Bata, Waka, Ha, Ayam, Baya, Bashaha, Waha, Mayam, Laham, Kawam, Mayan, Wayam, Sham, Allah, Alam, Washalam, Wama, Shamalam, Waya, Radha, Power, Mataza, Rayam, Waya, Bawa, Aka, Raya, Ham, Kala, Sawa, Para, Ayam, Roka, Bawa, Wapa, Rasha, Yawa, Allah, Tawaka, Ham, Waya, this 24, Waya, Ba'a, Shamrata, Haba, Kara, Waya, Shakwapa, Yahawa, Allah, Makkah, Naam, Mataza, Raha, Rayam, Ba'ai, Ba'ai, Mawala, Asha, Wa'aina, Waya, Ham, Ata, Makkah, Naha.
Abba Shem Sheba.
Mataza, Matazara Rayam Waya Shara Atha Apana Maraka Batha Yawa Waya Nahaga Nahaga Awa Baka Badata Waya Amra Mataza Yam Ana Wasa Mapa Naya Washa Yasha Yashala Kaya Yahawa Nalakam Laham Ba Mataza Raham Waya Amra Yahawa Allah Masha Nata Allah Yadaka Ayla Ayam Waya Shabawa Ham Yam Amayam Ail Matazara Yama Ail Raka Bawa Wa'ail Para Shayawa 27 Wayatha Masha Atha Yadawa Ail Yam Waya Shaba Shab Ayam Lapa Nawata Bakwara La'a Yatha Nawa Wam Taza Rayam Nasa Yam Lakwara Atawa Waya Naira Yahawa Ata Mataza Rayam Batha Waka Hayam Waha Waya Shabawa Amma Yam Amayam Wa Kasawa Ata Harakab Wa Ata Apa Rasha Ham Lakala Kayal Kora Aiha Abaa Ham Aka Rayam Bayam La'a Nasha Ara Baham Aida Akala.
Exodus chapter 14 and verse 21. And Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord caused the sea to go back by a strong east wind all that night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. Verse 22. And the children of Israel went into the midst of the sea upon the dry ground, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Verse 23. And the Egyptians pursued and went in after them to the midst of the sea, even all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. Verse 24. It came to pass that in the morning watch the Lord looked into the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of the fire and of the cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. Verse 25. And took off their chariots' wheels, that they drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, Let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Lord fighteth for them against the Egyptians. Verse 26. And the Lord said unto Moses, Stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the waters may come again upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. Verse 27. And Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to his strength when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled against it. And the Lord overthrew the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. Verse 28. And the water returned and covered the chariot and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh that come into the sea after them. There remained not so much as one of them.
So, as we continue to read on, through the book of Exodus, and this was the time, when Moses now was leading the children of Israel out of the land of Egypt, out of that bondage, out of, as we say, out of captivity under one of our oppressors at that time, these Africans, these Egyptians, and then, we reach now where, from last week reading, where the Most High put as we say, fire by day and a cloud between we and the Egyptians separated us. Now we're to the part, now we know where Moses now part the Red Sea, given instructions by the Most High, stretch forth your rod, and as the scripture say, the waters parted, and as we pursue now through these on dry ground, the Egyptians pursued and went after us in the midst, even all Pharaoh's horse and his chariots. And as we continue to read on, they're going to get more interesting now, and they're going to understand who the Most High really for. Because as the scripture say, if you're against the Most High, as you say, if you're not walking after the Lord's statutes and commandments, then you will fight there. But at this time now, the children of Israel was following the instructions, just as was passed down unto Moses to pass on to the children of Israel. So now we to the part where we, crossing through the part that Most High made for us, and as in verse 25, and the chariots of wheels that drave them heavily, so that the Most High, so that the Egyptians set there. Verse 24, and it came to pass that in the morning watch, the Most High looked unto the host of the Egyptians through the pillar of fire and of cloud, and troubled the host of the Egyptians. So you see now the Most High now, all that was taking place on that side, the children of Israel wasn't seeing what was going on. And the Most High was doing what? Was at war with them. Here we say in verse 25, and he took their chariots' wheels and drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, so all that time, them in know going on the other side. That time the Most High fighting for them, drave them heavily, so that the Egyptians said, let us flee from the face of Israel, for the Most High fighteth for them against the Egyptians. So they're now realizing, all the time they're pursuing, now they realize it now. See this? Let me flee from him, because they realize now who the Most High with, who God with. Not the Egyptian God or the Egyptian stone or whatever that the world were worshiping, but the true and living power, true and living God. Right? And said, and Moses stretched forth his hand over, and the Lord said unto Moses, stretch out thy hand over the sea, that the waters may come upon the Egyptians, and upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. So you see the instructions as you continue to follow, and as we say, we're going to get more understanding and understand when you're for the Most High, how he's going to fight for us. I know you want that.
Yeah, and when you check this, what's going on, right? So there's some people now, when you go and check things now, they don't want to be a homosexual, right? So this is the only book on the face that it will tell you, not to be a homosexual and thing, or a woman to be a lesbian and thing, right? And after again, no other book on the face that will tell you about not to smoke and thing, right? But when you come and tell people about, hey, the Most High do all these things and them, right? And thing, you come and say, but that's a fairy tale. Well, if these things is fairy tales and thing, right? The same thing, better when you go and smoke and kill yourself the same way, and even self go and be a homosexual the same way, because no other book on the face of the earth tells you about that, and which is the Most High telling you not to be that. And so if you can't believe that, hey, the Most High doing all these things, when you check back all the things with the story, the lie and then and thing and all these things, they'll come and say, yes, a fairy tale. Well then man being a homosexual is not a fairy tale neither, but all these things is the records of the nation of Israel, and is the things the Most High tell you to obey. So again now, if the Most High say, well, hey, we obey he, and he go be we father, and we go be children, we have to obey. I think because the same thing happening is like we don't obey, is destruction coming for you. So at the end of the day, whatever is written in that book is for we learning, and not to take on the people outside in the world just come and say, well, hey, them don't want to come to the Most High, they want to be evil out there. So come and say they don't want to be a homosexual, but they will come and tell you, hey, by that Bible has such a fairy tales and all kind of thing when they see report of the nation of Israel. Right?
Yeah. We will continue to read on in the Hebrew. Book of Exodus, chapter 14 and verse 29 in the Hebrew. Wabana, Yasha, Ra'ala, Yashala, Salakia, Yashala, Yalaka, Halakawa, Baha, Baya, Basha, Bata, Waka, Hayam, Waham, Yam, Laham, Kam, Maya, Mayan, Wayam, Sham, Alam, Washalam, Waya, Washai, Yahawashai, it's like it, no. Waya, Washai, Yahweh, verse 31. Waya, Ra'a, Waya, Washa, Salakia, Yasha, Ra'ala, Yasha'ala, Atha, Ayada, Agada, Laha, Asherah, Aisham, Yahweh, Amataza, Rayam, Shaya, Yara, Awa, Haim, Ata, Yahweh, Wayam, Wanawa, Baya, Awa, Wada, Waba, Salakia, Waba, Masha, Aiba, Dawa. Book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 1. Isaac, Yesha, Yara, Masha, Waba, Naya, Yesha, Yashala, Atha, Asha, Yaraha, Azah, Laya, Aya, Waha, Wayam, Rawa, Amwa, Asha, Yara, Laya, Awa, Kaya, Gaaha, Sawasa, Waraka, Bawa, Rama, Bayam. Verse 2. Isaiah, Waza, Maratha, Yaha, Waha, Awa, Lawa, Laya, 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 Shawaiha, Zaha, Alaya, Wa'a, Nawa, Awo, Allah, Awo, Alaya, Abaha, Abaya, Wara, Mayaha, Mahaiwa, Yahweh, Ayasha, Malaka, come, Yahweh, Wa, Shamawa, Maraka, Batha, Torah, Iha, Waka, Yalawa, Araha, Yaraha, Bayam, Wama, Bakara, Shala, Shayawa, Taba, Aiwa, Bayam, Sawapa.
Exodus chapter 14 and verse 29. But the children of Israel walked upon the dry land in the midst of the sea, and the waters were a wall unto them on their right hand and on their left. Verse 30. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day out of the hand of the Egyptians, and the Israelites saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. Verse 31. And Israel saw the great works which the Lord did upon the Egyptians, and the people feared the Most High, and believed the Most High and his servants Moses. Exodus chapter 15 and verse 1. Then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Lord, and they spake, saying, I will sing unto the Lord, for the had triumphed gloriously. The horse and his riders hath he thrown into the sea. Verse 2. The Lord is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's power, and I will exalt him. Verse 3. And the Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. Verse 4. Pharaoh chariot and his host had he cast into the sea. His chosen captains also are drowned in the Red Sea. So you see again, when we keep the Mosai, when we keep the Mosai commandments, laws, statutes, and judgments and things, no matter one nation, no matter one nation come up amongst us, they'll end up they will end up falling and thing, right? And it don't matter which party is and thing too again. So again, it's important that we keep the Mosai laws, statutes, and judgments and them. So you see, in one point, when I was in the Red Sea and all the chariots the chariots them started move now and like, hey, no control of the chariots and thing and hey, they want to flee now and by too late and thing now they want to know what really going on here and they see the true power of the living, the true power of the Almighty and thing. And when you check back all these other gods and all these other nations and all the fake gods. I never really hear when they say, well, the God is this and the God do that and all kind of thing. All of that's praising gods and nothing out of the gods and them. And it's just to show real paganism in these other nations and them. Right?
And so again, just as we read on and this is where again the I.S.U.P.K under Commandant General Yahanna, is raising up righteous brothers and sisters and reminding them that if we stand with the Most High law, statutes and commandments, he will fight for us. And this is why we're reading throughout our records. And one day we're going to sing the same song because it is recorded. Because we was in captivity, we was in bondage. And just as coming out of that captivity and coming out of that bondage, the children of Israel, saw and they witnessed that the Most High fight for this nation. He fight for this people because why? These people are his chosen. These records is our records, and this is why we could read out of, and as we read and in verse 15, then sang Moses and the children of Israel this song unto the Most High. And this is what every day we pray for. We pray for the destruction of our enemies. We pray that that the Most High will send forth our King Yahawashi, to take us out of this this bondage, to take us out of this captivity. But in order for us to be taken out of this bondage, of this captivity, we must come back to the law, statutes, and commandments. And this is what the I.S.U.P.K has been doing since 1969, reminding brothers and sisters to come back to your laws, to your judgments, and the Most High will fight for you. Because just as I said, the song that they're singing in verse 2, as they say, the Most High is my strength and song, and he is become my salvation. He is my God, and I will prepare him an habitation, my father's God. Why they making mention of their father's God? Because again, this was the 12 sons of Jacob. And as scripture say, he's the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. This is who he's fighting for. These 12 tribes, nation. And I will exalt him. And this was the song that was coming out from Moses, as we read up, and from the children of Israel out of captivity. And here was the song they were singing. The Most High is a man of war. And The Most High is his name, and as we say in Hebrew, Yahweh is his name. That is where this was saying. And as they sing this song, because why? Just as they witness, read the parting of the sea that Moses, demonstrated, and the power of the Most High, they saw it that these water came down on their enemies. And this is what we are again in our prayer, the destruction of our enemies. Right? So we'll continue on from the book of Exodus. Exodus chapter 15 and verse 5. Right?
Yeah.
Exodus 15 and verse 5. The book of Exodus chapter 15 and verse 5. Taha mata yakasa yamwa yara dawa ba mataza walata kayam abana yamnaka yahawa na'a baraya bakaka yanaka yanaka yahawa tara aitaza awa yaba waba raba ra'a wanaka tawa taha rasha kwam yaka tawa tasha laka kara naka ya'a kala nawa kakwash waba rawaka apa yaka na'ai ramawa mayam nataza bawa kamwa nada naza layam kwapa awa taha balaba yam amra awa yaba ara Zapa, Asha, Yaga, Waga, Yaga, Asha Yaga, Aka, Lakwa, Shala, Tama, La'a, Nawa, Napa, Shaya, Aba, Ara, Yakwa, Kara, Baya, Tawa, Raya, Shamwa, Yadaya, Nashapata, Bara, Wakaka, Kasa, Mawa, Yam, Tazal, Lawa, Kai, Wapa, Rotha, Bam, Yam, Ada, Yara, Yam.
Exodus chapter 15 and verse 5. The depth have covered them, they sank into the bottom as a stone. Verse 6. Thy right hand, O Lord, is become glorious in the power. Thy right hand, O Lord, had dashed in pieces the enemies. Verse 7. And in the greatness of thy excellency, thou hast overthrown them that rose up against thee. Thou sentest forth thy wrath, which consumed them as stubble. Verse 8. And with the blast of thy nostrils, the waters were gathered together. The flood stood upright as an heap, and the depths were congealed in the heart of the sea. Verse 9. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil. My lust shall be satisfied upon them. I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Verse 10. Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them, they sank as lead in the mighty waters. Verse 11. Who is like unto thee, O Lord, among the gods? Who is thee, glorious in holiness, fearful in praises, doing wonders? So you see now, Moses and all started to do the same thing again. So right, all these Egyptians and them, when time for the God and them, they should be calling and the God now to go and to come up against the Mosai. So okay, I see here now again. So again, when you go drunk today and all to the same thing again. It's just there's stupidity around these other nations and them, and really and true, just the Mosai using these other nations to really be above you and thing. But all these gods and them, we just using the other nations to punish you because we went against the Mosai. So Moses and one bragging now and saying, well, hey, no, I see that God's doing anything wrong here. It's only you working these wonders and them and things. So the same thing going on today again. These are the nations that them I say that's pure paganism and just show that there's already heathens and they don't believe in the Moses. So Moses naturally black and say, but hey, with them gods and them town, come on, help them Egyptians and them. No Egyptians say that the firstborn dead and think all the firstborn, every one of them dead. No God to come and help them again. But you come back again, the Mosai come back and they're running again. They say, I ain't getting enough for them, I ain't getting enough for the nationals. Then we go behind them again. But when they come already, the first among that death, so I didn't get, well, I come for more death now. I see what the power of the Mosai again because the Mosai say, Yes, we like a marriage until we and things. So you see, again, come again to the Most High and see what again. I wanted more depth, so I get more depth, right?
Just to expound and to continue on, just as we know how Shasha bringing out again, we all the gods, because the coronavirus rampant in all the gods, and this is why again we always bring the reminder, because why it was reminded of us. And when I say us, these 12 tribes, these brothers, these 12 brothers, the nation of Israel, this nation that again is apple of the Most High eye, is always reminded of you that when these other nations and them going to go in, as we say, into hard bondage, just as they had we, them now, the scriptures, just as they say, all the God now, show more the God. And this is why we always be to be separated. And as we read on down, we're going to see the same warning that we get. Because we've seen all of this, we've seen everything that taking place right now. The same thing was taking place in the time. Now we coming out of captivity. And it's the same thing that we play again. And the Most High going to remind us as we again, as we see, as we continue to read. Right? So, yeah. 12. Book of Exodus, chapter 15 and verse 12. Nata, Yata, Yam, Yanaka, Taha, Bala, Ain, Wa, Aratuza, Naka, Yata, Bakash, Gaka, Ain, Zawa, Da, Lata, Lata, Ai, Zaka, Allah, Nawa, Kwada, Shaka, Sham, Aiwa, Aim, Yam, Yara, Gaza, Wana, Kayal, Akaza, Yesha, Baya, Pala, Shata, Aza, Naba, Ya, Alawa, Allah, Pawa, Alapaya, Adawam, Aya, Laya, Mawa, Aba, Wa'a kaza mawa rai rada namaga wa kala yesha baya kana aina dapala aila yaham aya mathaha wapakada baga dala zara wa aika yada mawa ka'a bana aida bara aimaika yahau aida ya bara aim zawa pana selaki wana yatha taba mawa wataha ta'ai mawa bahara naka lataka maka wana lawa lashaba tahaka pa'ai latha yahawa makwa lasha ada naya kawana nawa yada yaka yahawa yama laka laai lam ai wa'aida
Exodus chapter 15 and verse 12. Thou stretched out thy hand, the earth swallowed them. Verse 13. Thou in thy mercy hast led forth the people which thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them in thy strength into the holy habitation. Verse 14. The people shall hear and be afraid. Sorrow shall take hold on the habitation of the Palestina. Verse 15. Then the dukes of Edom shall be amazed. The mighty men of Moab, trembling shall take hold upon them. All the habitation of Canaan shall melt away. Verse 16. Fear and dread shall fall upon them by the greatness of thy arm. they shall be as still as a stone, till thy people pass over, O Lord, till the people pass over, which thou hast pursued. Verse 17, thou shalt bring them in and plant them in the mountains of thy inheritance, in the place, O Lord, which thou hast made thee to dwell in the sanctuary, O Lord, which thy hands have established. Verse 18, the Lord shall reign forever and ever.
The Lord shall do what?
Reign forever and ever.
And this is why, again, we remind blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians to come back to the involved statutes and commandments. Because just as we read in verse 17, thou shalt bring them and plant them in the mountain of thine inheritance. And we know that the mountains mean the governments. With the setback of this government, with the setback of the nation of Israel, to be what? Righteous rulers. Because again, the whole earth is out of course. They don't have no righteousness in the earth. Because why? You see what is taking place right now. So as we read, as we come out, as we know the children of Israel coming out, from bondage, these are the things now that the Most High now will be, establishing. And again, we can, bring the scriptures and them, to prove who this righteous government will come through. And again, it's in the I.S.U.P.K. This time, again, under the righteous rulership by the leader who is in charge of the nation of Israel, who look over just Commander General. Right?
Yeah, so when you read verse 15, right, then they say the dukes of Edom shall be amazed, and the mighty men of Moab tremble, and shall take hold upon them, and the habitation of Canaan. So now it's starting to see now all these other nations now starting to be afraid of the nation of Israel, because now everybody now know what happened now to the Egyptians and them. So that would be the first learning lesson now to the nation of Israel is, hey, keep the Most High laws, statutes and judgment, and the Most High go how we back and thing. And now the other nations that know, hey, you see them people and them, you have to leave them alone and thing. Because if you go wrong them, the Most High go deal with you. Now the totally thing thing what we decide to do now is not to keep the Most High laws, statutes and judgments now, and now these nations taking full advantage of it. And even when you watch today and all too, when you check out how good bit of thing happening with these other nations and them and thing, you see now that they're taking full advantage of us. They know the nation of Israel not 100 right, then the nation of Israel not 100 right now, and they would I.S.U.P.K trying to bring back the nation of Israel now. So we now will be back in that rightful place, ruling it, and all these other nations could be faithful. So when you watch things like the Syrians and them, where they set the law now with the guns and them, we not promoting no guns, but see now again now, where they come and they hold them. About a black brother, he going in and make jail. You see what happened with Kamala and thing. Another nation, I think what happened with Canada when the weed now they legalize it. But before that, when she got the weed, they run it around. They say it's something resembling when they do after some 2 years come back now, they come and say hey, she wasn't there and all kind of things. And now they say it's weed. Now you come and see again now with Dr. Gabriel and thing. She went and do she thing. She went and do she went on to be a doctor. Yes, she licensed everything. Because of somewhere in the hospital I tell her, hey, you're not supposed to be saying now here she get ranted at it and she lashed out and thing. What I take with she licensed all kind of thing. Up come another doctor now, which is nothing no comparison close to happen to Gabriel. He just outright and then because they could see like the rage now if somebody that's hungry right now, I tell them to come and sit down and they could say, well, hey, now you're not supposed to be staying down here because see the rage could come in and thing and they can lash out. Now this is something totally different here now. Them nasty come out and say, hey, don't hire no Negro nurse and thing, and up to now he still have a license, nobody in take away license and things. So see why black people when they watch back the day and take them and we could keep on going, let's even down to second study and soca artist, second star, which is a Jake, which is a Negro. He gonna keep in a song, and when he keep the party, I think they decided they're gonna decide to attack the black man again. Same thing happening now. You have Ravi B on the other side. Nobody telling Ravi B that Ravi B making no news, no newspaper, no express, no headlines and all these other radio stations. When you will talk about second side, that's going to have a lot because that's continue to show that all these other nations taking advantage. Even the Chinese and all too, when the whole all them all we Hispanic sisters and them and thing, when the Chinese and them to be prosecuted and all to for all these crimes and them thing. But anything slightest thing any black man do, there's prosecution one time. And when they check it out again, black people have no say in this world, and the only how we go to see in this world until we come back to the law, statutes and judgment, and the Most High, where the Most High will deal with these other nations and them. Right?
So, and just as you're bringing all that, again, and when we talk about the race, we're talking about your nation. So, a lot of people like to ask, just as I've seen, how different races, your race is your nation. That is what it means. So, the Christian churches always promote different ethnicity or different group. But that just means to say is your nation. This is who you belong to, because the nation of Israel have 12 tribes. And that is one race. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. One race, one nation. That is what it is talking about, right? So, go yeah now.
Somebody,
Yeah. Same thing. One. Your race is your nation. That is where your race is your nation. You belong to the Chinese. That is, you belong to the as we say in with the record in the Moab, Ammon, that's who you belong to. That is your nation. That is your people. That is who you belong to. Right? So we have now it's 19. Yeah. Imagine next please.
Bariat, Ban, Banyanyam, Ban, Yashala.
Bariat, Ban Banyanyan, Ban Yashala.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Brakata.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Brakata.
So we continue from the book of Exodus, chapter 18 and verse 19. Kaya Ba'a Shawasha Para Ayha Bara Kabawa Waba Para Shayawa Bayam Waya Shaba Yahweh Ayah Ham Asa Ayah Ayam Waba Naya, Washa, Ra'ala, Allah, Kawa, Baya, Washaha, Watha, Waka, Hawa, Hayam, that's 20. Watha, Waka, Mara, Yam, Marayam, Han, Baya, Aha, Aka, Watha, Taha, Aha, Rana, Ata, Altapa, Baya, Daha, Watha, Taza, Ana, Kala, Ana, Shayam, Aka, Raya, Bata, Baham, Wara, Waba, Maka, Lata, Wata, Aina, Laham, Mara, Yam, Marayam, Shaya, Rawa, Laya, Yaha, Laya, Hawaha, Kaya, Ga, Sawasa, Wara, Kabawa, Ram, Rama, Wayasai, Masha, Atha, Yasha, Rala, Yashala, Mayam, Sawapa, Waya, Taza, Awa, Allah, Madha, Bara, Shawara, Waya, Lakawa, Shala, Shatha, Yam, Bama, Dabara, Wala, Mataza, Awa, Mayam, Waya, Lanawa, Ail, Mashaha, La'amra, Nasha, Taha, Waya, Taza, Aikwa, Allah, Yahweh, Waya, Wara, Hawa, Yahweh, Aitaza, Waya, Shalaka, Allah, Ayam, Wayam, Takwawa, Ayam, Shab, Lawa, Kakwa, Wam, Shapatha, Washam, Nasa, Hawa.
The book of Exodus 15:19 and verse 19. For the horse of Pharaoh went in with his chariots and with his horsemen into the sea, and the Lord brought again the waters of the sea upon them. But the children of Israel went on dry land in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took a timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels and with dances. And Miriam answered them, Sing ye to the Lord, for he hath triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider hath he thrown into the sea. So Moses brought Israel from the Red Sea, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur, and they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And when they came to Marai, they could not drink of the waters for Marai, for they were bitter. Therefore, the name of it was called Marai. And the people murmured against Moses, saying, What shall we drink? Verse 25. And he cried unto the Most High, and the Most High showed him a tree, which when he had cast into the waters were made sweet. There he made for them a statue and an ordinance, and there he proved them.
You see, as we continue to read on, you see now where we are this time now, we on our way on our journey, back to the land that the Most High had promised unto our forefathers. And on this journey now, we reach a part now of where we are going to be proved. And that proving now is if we going to stand through the test of time. And that test of time is to serve the Most High. Because all that he done before, with the Red Sea, and as we see, the sisters and them, they had all that at that time. And when I mean all that, by this sister now seeing what took place now, and seeing that the Most High delivered them out of the hands of, that bondage, of that cruelty. And she now gather all, as they say, the rest of sisters now, and they started, saying, and that's why as the scripture, in the New Testament, we say that the older woman, teach the younger woman, and she now being the example as a older sister now, showing, what, attributes, or, as a older woman, teaching these young women, hey, sing unto your God, give praises, because why? He delivered the nation, he delivered the men and them. And this is why now we always, read or give, the sisters and them props, for really coming out of this world, that mindset, understanding, serving, what is to serve. And this is why we have our records. And as we continue to read on, again we to the path now where we're coming out of bondage, and we in the wilderness. Is that anything, Sasha?
Yeah, and the next thing about it, and also the Most High knows everything what going on with the nation of Israel. Like a blind eye, like he playing a blind eye and seeing like nothing. He knows everything what going on with the nation of Israel. Know the nation of Israel being oppressed and thing, right, by these other nations and them, right. So it's just like what we see in here, right. The nation of Israel only come in the Most High for help and things. So you see now we being oppressed by the Egyptians, and see what he do. He get them warning. He get them warning and thing. He leave the people alone. He kill them of the firstborn. They still come behind the nation of Israel. See what the Most High kill all the Egyptians in the sea and thing, right? So now again when we watch back and thing too again now. So yeah, no part with no water and thing too again. So he knowing everything what's going on with we and thing. But at the same time too, the Most High want things of us too, right? And which is to keep his law, statutes, and judgments again. So that means that thing he go be there for we, providing for we. At the same time too, all he just want we to obey him and things. So they don't want no they don't want to cry coming to Moses and thing right through. He knowing that before we start to reach there and all too, right? So an idea and thing we for we to really come out from because the idea right now and thing that's how the crying here is we crying for a lot of things. That's like when we watch a movie, most black people focus on it like, hey, I have to go and build a house, I have to get a good paying job, and all these cries coming onto the Most High and thing. But ask yourself, why it is we not holding on all these jobs, and why we being killed in the streets every day and thing, and we keep on crying and thing, right? But something wrong. So let you go back to this and I check it back out again. This same King James by the same black man here, right? And thing, and when you check back all the prophets on them, there's one thing right through the scriptures they're telling me to do, right? Is to keep the law, statutes, and judgments of the Most High. And when we start to keep that, then we go to come out from all this crying thing we in right now. You see all we keep on every day we focusing where's the next meal we going on, where's the next dollar we finish our work. We work, I get laid off from our work, and then I check it back out. The next day we studying. Whereby, why going to look to get money to feed my family, to send my children to school and things. When these are nations themselves worrying about that. Some we worrying about the raising the pension right now. They want to raise the retirement from 65 years. 65 years and things. I say, why crying? Why I do work another 5 years the white name, when these other nations and them, they themselves studying that some of them themselves taking the other nations them when they get pension and things, they themselves taking the pension, they say, well, hey, I'm gonna go and buy something like that. They know they're doing it, taking that pension because first they taking the pension to get to the children and all kind of thing. I think while when as we pension, we grandparents get pension and thing, or thing it done within about 4 days and thing. I see the cries black people right through and thing. But again, ask yourself, why we crying so much and thing? I think what really going on with people? Again, because one thing we didn't keep, but the Most High want us to be obedient to him is the Lord. So for we to stop crying, we have to come back to the Most High. And no matter how we try to turn around it is coming back to the Most High.
The question that your 36 asks, is this located in Poland, Spain? Your daughter lives in Momoruga. The school is in Point Fortin, Central Road, Point Fortin. This is where the location of the school is. Into the book of Exodus chapter 15, and we're going to verse 26. I'm going to read in Hebrew, Exodus chapter 15 and verse 26. Vayamra Ama Sham Why Tashama La Wala Yahweh Allah Yaka Waha Yashara Ba'ai Yana Yawa Ta'ai Shaha Waha Zanata Lam Taza Watha Awa Washam Ratha Kala Kapwa Yawa Kala Am Kala Ashara Sham Taya Bama Taza Rayam Ra'a Asha Yam Ai Yaka Kaya Anaya Yahweh Rapa Aka Waya Ba'a Aya Lama Washam Shata Yam Aisha Ra Aya Ayan Ta Ayam Washa Bai Wa Ayam Tam Ayam Wa Wayaka Na Wayakana Waya Kanawa Sham I Yam. Book of Exodus chapter 16 and verse 1. Waya Tai Wa Ma Yalam Waya Ba'awa Kala Aida Ta Bana Ya Washa Yashala Allah Mada Bara Sayana Ashara Bayan Aya Lam Alayam Yaba Yan Saya Naya Baka Masha I Shara Yawam Laka Nasha Asha Naya La Taza Tama Ma'ara Taza Mataza Rayam Waya Wayala Yan Wa Kala Ta Aida Ta Banaya Yasha Ra'al Mashaha Wa'ala Aha Rana Bama Dabara Waya Rawa Allah Banaya Yasha Ra'ala Maya Yatana Maya Mawa Tanawa Bayada Yahawa Mataza Natazarayam, Basha, Batha, Nawa, Ail, Sayara, Abashara, Ba'atha, Baka, Lanawa, Lakam, Lasha, Lashabai, Kaya, Awa, Taza, Tam, Atha, Nawa, Allah, Dabara, Azza, Laha, Mayata, Atha, Hala, Aqua, Wala, Azza, Bara, Aiba. Verse 4. Waya, Amra, Yahweh, Allah, Masha, Anna, Naya, Mataha, Ara, Yara, Lakam, Lakam, Mana, Asha, Mayam, Wayataza, Ayam, Wala, Laka, Tawa, Dabara, Yawam, Dayawam, Lama, Ain, Anna, Sanawa, Ayalaka, Batha, Bora, Taya, La'a, the sky, Hawa, Baya, Ya, Asha, Shaya, Ya, Waha, Kaya, Nawa, Atha, Ashara, Yaba, Ya'awa, Wahawa, Yahawa, Masha, Naha, Ashara, Yala, Watha, Yawam.
The book of Exodus 15 and verse 26, and said, if thou wilt diligently hearken to the voice of the Most High thy God, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes, I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. Verse 27. And they came to Elim, where were 12 wells of water, and 60 palm trees, and they encamped there by the waters. 16. And they took their journey from Elim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came unto the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the second month after their departing out of the land of Egypt. Verse 2. And the whole congregation of the children of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron in the wilderness. And the children of Israel said unto them, would to God we had died by the hand of the Most High in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots, and when we did eat bread to the full, for ye have brought us forth into this wilderness to kill the whole assembly with hunger. Then said the Lord unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. And it shall come to pass that on the 6th day they shall prepare that which they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gathered daily.
So here we see now, and this now is directed now to the children of Israel, and this is why we always speak directly, and when we speak indirectly, we speak to our brothers and our sisters who are from the 12 tribes of the nation. And this was, something that was established, and something was, handed down to our forefathers as reminders. And when you read verse 26, and just as as they read from verse 25, and he cried unto the Lord, and the Lord showed him a tree, and when he had cast it into the waters were made sweet, and there were made And there he made them a statute and an ordinance, and there he proved them. Right? So we go into 26 now. And he said, if thou will diligently hearken to the voice of the Most High thy power, and will do that which is right in his sight, and will give ear to his commandments, and keep all his statutes. Here we hear this part. I will put none of these diseases upon thee, which I have brought upon the Egyptians, for I am the Lord that healeth thee. I am the Most High that healeth thee. So this is why, we remind brothers and sisters, outside of the Most High laws, statutes, and commandments, you're headed for destruction. But the Most High set reminders unto the children of Israel that there could be healing. And the way you could find that healing, within the body, within your nation, amongst your people. This is where you could find that healing. Outside of that, you're going to follow after all the customs. And as you read on down, you're going to see, just as we're reading on, outside of the Most High law, statutes, and commandments is destruction. And then now what we're going to do, we're going to remember all the days. That's why the scriptures say that, concerning putting away that lustful desire, putting away that old man, and renewing your spirit, that will walk after what? After the teachings, after the spirit of the Most High, which is what? The law, statutes, and commandments. And this is what we read in here now. And this is directed now. Again, everything inside here is directed children of Israel. And now reading the part in the wilderness, as we see we go into it, directing it now. If we do this, then he wouldn't put none of these plagues that he put on Egypt. And we see the same example replaying itself. Right? So, want to add anything, Sasha?
Yeah, that's to touch on the same Exodus chapter 15 and verse 26, right? So a lot of we people are coming from all this Christianity and thing. They love to say, I have a good heart and a good mind, right? But watching these scriptures here right now, up to now you see no good heart and no good mind, right? Again, one thing the Most High continue to say, keep his laws, statutes, and judgment and things. So a lot of I'm going in this Christian church, so I put up all your hand and men and women more coming more feminine and thing, right? And putting up your hand and this one step thing, and then after slow and boom, and then break the Most High laws. And here we are, you're saying it now. So I love to say God, God is a loving God and thing. But when you're watching the scriptures here now, the Most High saying he's sending diseases and thing, right? And things. So where them diseases coming from? They're coming from the Most High. So that's why we simply say, the Most High say, hey, do not grow on horse and thing. But when we grow on horse and thing, guess what we're getting? HIV and thing. Again, a lot of STDs and thing. And this is how we not the Christian church. We're gonna bring it real to you. So when I break the Most High laws and say, hey, do grow on horse, simple as you see it and thing too. You're gonna get certain STDs, go mash up women's vaginas and mash up men's private parts. Men's private parts having information and all kind of thing on it. But why? If we keep righteous and thing, these things will not happen and things. So we keep on disobeying the Most High. See how the Most High is saying again? Same thing happening again. Every time we go against the Most High laws and things, it have things set up for we for disobeying the Most High laws and things. So that's how we simple like this thing. God, yeah, God is a loving God and thing. Yeah, God is a loving God too. But even in the scripture, he say he's a God of war and all too. The same thing too. So yeah, the Most High have more than one different spirits on him too. And thing too. So you have spirit of vengeance, spirit of war, spirit of cleanliness. You have a lot of different spirits on him too. So God is not about this loving thing too. And thing too. So we need to come out them Christian church, because the Christian church again set up to make people sin right through. I see what the Most High saying, he will send diseases. So when you watch from all these diseases and things today, who it coming from? I think it's coming from dirty water and thing, and or something you go and touch, and then after you end up with that, or a baby that's born just so and thing, and it's just natural causes. Everything you see taking place here on the face of the earth is the Most High doing it, right?
So to read on. And we say we're going to read on in the Hebrew, and then we'll be translated in the English, because again, what we do, we rehearse the righteous acts of our forefathers, and our native tongue is Hebrew, and this is why now you read in Hebrew first and then do the translation in English. Right? Book of Exodus, chapter 16 and verse 6. Waya, Wayam, Wayamra, Masha, Wa'a, Harana, Allah, Kala, Banaya, Yashala, Iraiba, Waya, the Tama, Kaya, Yahweh, Yahweh, Hawa Taza, Ya'a, Atha, Kama, Ma'ataza, Ma'ataza, Ram, Maratazayam, verse 7. Waba, Hora, Ora, Ayatam, Atha, Kaba, Wada, Yahweh, Basham, Basham, Aiwa, Atha, Tala, Nata, Yakam, Yahweh, Wana, Tanawa, Ma'a, Kaya, Tala, Kalawa, Nawa, Aira, Yanawa, verse 8. Yafa, Salakia, Yawa, Waya, Salakia, Wayamra, Masha, Batha, Yahweh, Lakam, Ba'ai, Rabah, Bashara, La'aka, Kara, Walakam, Bakwara, Basha, Bai, Basha, Basham, Yahweh, Atha, Tala, Natha, Yakam, Ashara, Asham, Mala, Yanam, Ayla, Yawa, Wanaka, Nawa, Maha, La'a, Laya, Nawa, Kala, Natha, Yakam, Kaya, Ayla, Yahweh, verse 9. Wayam, Mashaha, Allah, Aharana, Amara, Allah, Laka, Aidata, Banaya, Yasha, Ra'ala, Kora, Bawa, Lapanawa, Lapanaya, Hawa, Kaya, Shamai, Ata, Allah, Tala, Talana, Taya, come. Understand? Yahweh. Salakia. Waya, yeah, Wayawa. Kada, Bara, Harana, Allah, Kala, Aidata, Na, Bana, Ya, Sha, Yashara, Waya, Pana, Wa, Allah, Yam, Da, Bara, Waha, Na, Kaba, Wada, Yahweh, Na, Nara, Aha, Ba'ai, Bain, verse 11. Waya, Da, Bahara, Yahweh, Allah, Mashaha, Lahamra, verse 12. Shamai, Taya, Ata, Tala, Manatha, Manaya, Yasha, Ba'ala, Dabara, Allah, Alahayam, La Amra, Bayan, Ha'ai, Ra, Bayam, Kala, Bashara, Waba, Bakwara, Tasha, Aiwa, Rakam, Waya, Da'ai, Tam, Kaya, Anaya, Yahweh, Alaha, Yakam, Waha, Waya, Haya, Ba'ai, Rabah, Watha, Aila, Asha, Lawa, Watha, Kasa, Ata, Ham, Kanaha, Waba, Barataza, Waha, Taha, Shaka, Bata, Athala, Sabah, Haba, Lama, Kanaha.
The book of Exodus 6 and verse 6. And Moses and Aaron said unto all the children of Israel at evening, then ye shall know that the Most High hath brought you out from the land of Egypt. And in the morning, then shall ye see the glory of the Most High, for that he heareth your murmurings against the Most High. And what are we that ye murmur against us? Verse 8. And Moses said, this shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to the full, for that the Lord heareth your murmurings, which ye murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings are not against us, but against the Most High. And Moses spake unto Aaron, say unto all the congregation of the children of Israel, come near before the Most High, for he hath heard your murmurings. Verse 10. And it came to pass, as Aaron spake unto the whole congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked towards the wilderness, and behold, the glory of the Most High appeareth in the cloud. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, I have heard the murmurings of the children of Israel. Speak unto them, saying, at evening ye shall eat flesh, and in the morning ye shall be filled with bread. And ye shall know that I am the Lord your God. And it came to pass that at evening the quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning the dew laid round about the host.
So again, right here we see now, again, this is why we always make reminders and in the scriptures that anytime that you say blasphemy or they're speaking against the Most High, that is an utter destruction. And this is why these records are never written. And just as he say in verse 4, he said, then said the Most High unto Moses, behold, I will rain bread from heaven for you, and the people shall go out and gather a certain rate every day. Here we say, that I may prove them whether they will walk in my law or no. The Most High, this is why now when you hear, the I.S.U.P.K and the Commanding General Yahanna outside on the streets, and as we speak and as we bring out this, our records unto our people, and we ourselves will be proved whether we walk in these laws or not. And this was always a reminder. Our King Yahushua came and he said this, that everything that we do is a reminder. So we need to remind our brothers as ourselves. This is how we show love, and this is how we demonstrate our love through these records and them. And everything that we do it unto the Most High. And as we go to verse 8, and Moses said, this shall be when the Lord shall give you in the evening flesh to eat, and in the morning bread to full. For the Lord hath heard your murmurings, which ye shall murmur against him. And what are we? Your murmurings, and not against us. So when we speak, don't feel that again you're trying to speak against us, because what we're doing, we're not doing nothing of we own. These are the instructions that was given unto us. We follow the instructions handed down, and as we say, through the order, through the Most High, then Christ, and then unto man. And this is why now again there is righteousness. The Most High never leave us without that righteous authority, or that righteous man, where now we could do what? He could share this word, he could break this bread, and he could share that the people would know. And Moses was this man in this time, and that's why we say in this time is Commanding General Yahanna, this generation. These speakings and these teachings that you hear from again was handed down. And what would take place? Murmuring. Alright, you want this? I'll give you this. And all of this is to prove whether you will follow these laws or not. And this is what's going to happen as we see, as we get ready, as the generals and them bring out to get out of this captivity. Moses is proving us to see if we are worthy of his again, to be set up in his government. Right?
Yeah, and just as we are now seeing in the scriptures and things, so when you come back again, say the Most High come back with the laws, right? So when we check back now this, right, and we come back to this reality here now. So back then we talking about here now the nation of Israel was under the Egyptians and them, right? Up come again now. So the Most High now come and set laws back now. So all we want to come and say is 10 commandments and things. So we just go the 10 commandments as our rightfully say. Would the Most High just come back and do this to the nation of Israel? Because the nation of Israel was under the Egyptians so long. They forgot about the Most High laws. They don't know nothing about the Most High laws. So now the Most High bring back them now and tell them, hey, you have to come back and keep this here now. So now we move away, he move away from the Egyptians now. So now we start back to the Percy laws and that, which is not 10 commandments alone. People like I say, just 10 commandments. There's many laws there. Even when they come into the dietary law was not there and all too. So we do now we start to rehearse back the commandments to the nation of Israel. So now when we watch back to the again now, how we gonna come out of the situation we're in right now again too? The same thing again too. We have to come back to the Most High laws and all too. So the same thing what happened with the Egyptians and them. And that's how you say, how we going to prove them, again? By the same Most High laws and again. Not the mindset that, hey, yeah, you're feeling your mind, but wait now. The Christianity, like, and people like, hey, but as long as me murder nobody, I could go the pork crab and shrimps and lobster, or might have somebody say, boy, me as long as me sleep with somebody else's wife and thing, hey, you know what, I could go I could go carnival and all of them. When the most I do with all his laws and everything. That's what we to be obedient. But again, what we follow is we mind, and we not supposed to be following we mind and things. Because the mind gonna leave it to we own destruction and things. So what the most I set up for we is to go and follow, right? Not follow the Christian church and think to set up any Christian church. And when you go and look into the Bible, none of these things are there. You're not going to find in the Bible saying, hey, you could eat pork, crab, same stuff. So you're not going to find in the Bible a man could be a homosexual and thing, right? You're not going to find in the Bible that, hey, the nation of Israel could marry these other nations. And so, for instance, are we walking around and thing and say, yeah, when you see things like Douglas and all kind of thing, when them thing is abomination to the Most High and thing, right? So when we think we need to follow all these laws and them and thing of the Most High, right? And that will keep winning one and that will bring back we nation to which part we is, right? Right now, we not in the spot we should be right now. We to the bottom and thing like the nation of Israel is to the bottom right now. All nations is taking advantage of. We go to all the nations we go to all the nations right now. And if you just check something, we just have and thing here. If you have to go my brother have a gold chain here and thing, right? If we had to we just have gold chain, we have to go to some other nation for that. The jerseys we have one right now and thing here. We have to go to if we have to go to the water, just to drink water and all to all these different water companies, the Sani, the waters and them things. It's all by different races and things. Just simple everything we think here. When you check back out again, this is what the Most is saying again. And that should never be happening to black people, right? So as I say again, you'll see right through everyone from the book of Genesis, they go straight to Revelation. One thing keep on saying, Christ keep on saying the same thing too. How do you enter the kingdom? By keeping the laws and thing, right? Nothing else. And thing, right? And I say the greatest is love that if you love the most high, you don't know already. And not the love for the people, the Christianity put in their mind and think, hey, yeah, the heart good and thing, your heart is desperately wicked, as the scripture says, and thing, and not read that. That what the scripture says again. So don't think your mind. And when the next one he said, love thy brother. As I said, if you love yourself and thing, you wouldn't do the things to your brother and thing. You go and sleep with your brother, why you go and thief and all these things and them. If your brother do you something wrong, you go to him and thing and tell him what you think. Because what you're going to do, you're going to start to be a snitch and thing. Because when your brother do you something, you're going to tell everybody else and thing, and then you ain't telling the man himself and thing, and you're going to tell everybody else, but you really and truly just being a snitch to your brother and thing. All these things in the scriptures and thing, right? And that what we have to come back to, right?
And again, as we continue to read on, through the Sabbath service, again, every Sabbath day, Lord willing, all allow, we continue to read out, out of our records. And it's a reminder to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. These are the ones, who was, in captivity under all these nations and them, different captivities. You can go up and you can look it up again, check out, the school website, I.S.U.P.K Trinidad and Tobago, we have our website, I.S.U.P.K worldwide, like, share, subscribe, and, as, we come to the end of our Sabbath service. With this, we say, I'm Adieu. Sir?
SHALAM to Israel.
Sir? Kanya for that.
We're going to say the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Kadash, Ayah, Samka, Yahawa, Alapaka, Taba'a, Tazaka, Ayah, Aisha, Arataza, Hawa, Ayah, Ashemaya, Tan, Ladawa, Lakam, Kal, Yawam, Wasalakno, Wakino, Wasalakino, Wakino, Mala'a, Tabianoa, Asawan, Ball, Shainoa, Mayan, Rai, Kaya, Maka, Malakwa, Wahala, Watapara, Rainomia, Aman.
In the English, our Father,
Father,
art in heaven, hallowed be thy name,
Yahweh,
thy kingdom come,
thy will be done,
earth,
in earth,
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day,
Give us this
our
day
daily bread, forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
forgive our debtors,
and forgive our debtors,
and lead us not
into
temptation,
temptation,
deliver us from evil,
deliver us from evil.
thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory,
forever.
So be it.
So be it. We're going to say the Haka, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Oshai, Abakasha, Natan Lanawa, Akat, Aparal, Kalmakala, Kalmadawan, Akat, Ata'a, Temazariam, Akat, Lahakwayam, Amatayam, Akat, Iwakuwa, Temagala, Lagarishim, Hashem, Oshai, Tawadaman.
In the English, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
the name of Yahweh,
and the name of Shai,
give us the power,
to
heal,
one
man of sickness,
one man of sickness,
one man of disease,
and one man of disease,
for to cleanse the lepers,
for to cleanse the lepers,
for to raise the dead,
for to raise the dead,
for against unclean spirits,
for against unclean
to
spirits,
cast them out,
cast them out.
In the name of Yahweh,
In the name of Yahweh,
thank you,
so be it.
so
So be it. You're going to say the blessed Israel, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Barak Lanawa, Wa'asharala, Wahabaya, Taparim, Barak, Rapah, Magun, Hashem, Oshai, Tawadaman.
In the English, Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh, bless us,
and Israel,
and
the school, bless, heal, shield, protect our loved ones, in the name of Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh. Thank you. So be it. We're going to say Psalms 121. Ashaya, Ayanya, Al-Hayariyam, Ma'aya, Ashaya, Shamayam, Wa'arataza, Al-Yatan, Lamawat, Galka, Al-Yanawam, Shamalka, Hana, La'a, Yanawam, Wala'a, Yashayan, Yashama, Wama, Yashala, Yahweh, Yamarka, Yahweh, Kazalka, Aiyad, Yanaka, Yawa, Ma'am, Ashamash, La'a, Yakwa, Wayarash, Bala, Yalla, Yahweh, Yashamalka, Makarai, Yashama, Ad Nashapakan, Ad Nashapakashka, Yahweh, Yashamash, Tazal, Taka, Wababaka, Maita, Waid, Wael. In the English,
I will lift up my eyes.
I will lift up my eyes
unto the hills.
unto the hills.
From whence cometh my help?
From whence cometh my
My
help?
help cometh from the Most
My
High.
help cometh from the Most High. When make heaven and
You will
earth.
not suffer thy foot to be moved.
You will not suffer thy foot to be
He
moved.
that keepeth thee
He that keepeth
will
thee
not slumber.
will not slumber.
Behold,
Behold,
he that keepeth Israel
he that keepeth
will
Israel
neither slumber nor sleep.
will neither slumber nor
The
sleep.
Most High is thy keeper.
The Most High thy
The
keeper.
Most High is thy shade.
The Most High thy shade.
Upon thy right hand.
Upon thy right
The
hand.
sun shall not smite thee by day.
And the sun shall not smite thee by day.
Nor the moon by night.
Nor the moon by night.
The Most High shall preserve thee.
The Most High shall preserve thee
From all evil.
from all evil.
He shall preserve thy soul.
He shall preserve thy
The
soul.
Most High shall preserve thy going
The
out.
Most High shall preserve thy going
And
out
thy coming in.
and thy coming in.
From this time forth.
From this time forth.
Even forevermore.
and even forevermore. It's Psalm 33. Al-Hayam, Al-Mayalaka, Al-Takakwash, wa Al-Takwat, Al-Kaya, Hana, Al-Wayabaka, Yahamawa, Yawam, Ra'ash, Mamuka, Ya'il Ra Yamwa, Sawada, Wayata, Ya'itazawa, Aitazapanwanka, Amawa, Lakwawa, Wanakadam, Mawagawa, Wala'a, Yazalka, Sham Yashala, Aiwada, Kaya, Nawa Aitazawa, Laba, Yakwa Adawa, Ayaka, Bariat, Yakara, Tawa, Alahaya, Ala Dawam, Wa Yash Yamai, Alahayam, Mabwa Wamaba, Waha Gariam, Babal, Wa Al Mawan, Wa Al Mal Lakwa, Asakwat, Al Yashaba, Tazawa, Gamashawa, Lanawa, Al Imam, Hayawa, Zarawai, Laban, Yalawat, Salah, Aihash, Aisha, Laham, Kamadian, Kasaya, Sarah, Kayabian, Manakal, Kakwashwan, Nasham Madwa, Paayan, Daira, Kayawa, Daman, La'a, Damwa, Shaya, Shalatamwa, Nada, Yab, Mawa, Kairam, Waka, Zab, Wazaba, Wakazabak, Waka Tazal, Mayan, Kal Nasa Yang, Kalmwa, Asha, Amuwa, Naya Rasha, Lanawa, At, Naawat, Alahayam, Alahaya, Shatamwa, Gangala, Kakwash, Lapan, Yara Kwa Wat, Karash, Ta'abayira, Yaraira, Wakal Lahabat, Halahat, Harayam, Kantaradama, Kadapama, Basaraika, Wasabasa, Wasaba, Pasaratkat, Tabahalayam, Mala'a, Pan-Yaham, Palawan, Wayat, Bakwashwat, Shamakat, Yahweh, Yabashwat, Waya, Bahalwat, Idai, Waya, Kapawa, Waya Abadwa, Waya Adaiwa, Waya Ata, Kayata, Shamka, Yahweh, Labadka, Ayawan, Aikal, Ha Arataza.
In the English, keep not thou silent.
Keep not thou silent. One more time.
Hold on thy peace.
Hold on thy peace.
Be not still.
And be not still. One more time. For lo, thy enemies make it too much. They are hating thee. Have lifted up the head. They are taking crafty counsel against thy people. I consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, Come,
let us cut them
off
from being a nation,
in
the name of Israel.
The name of Israel.
No more in remembrance.
No more in remembrance.
They have consulted together.
They are consulted together.
With one consent.
They
are confederate against
thee. The
tabernacles of Edom,
and
the Ishmaelites,
Moab,
and the Hagarim,
the Baal,
Ammon,
Amalek,
the Philistines, with the inhabitants of Tyre,
Serve.
also is joined with them. They are pulping. The children of Lot, Salah. Do unto them as unto the Midianites, as to Sisera, as to Jabin, at the brook of Kison, which perished at Endor, and they became as dung for the earth. Make their nobles like Horeb, like Zebi, yea. All their princes, as they are, and Zaluna, who said, let us take to ourselves the houses of the Most High in possession. O my power, make them like a wheel, as the stubble before the wind, as the fire burneth the wood, as the flame setteth the mountains on fire, so persecute them with thy tempest, and make them afraid, with thy storm, fill their faces with shame, that they may seek thy name. O Most High, let them be confounded, and troubled forever. Yea, let them be put to shame, and perish, that men may know that thou, whose name alone is Yahweh, art the Most High over all these. So, let's give the brothers online a good salute. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Alright.
Yahweh Shamil Shabrakata.
Let's give the sisters online a good salute. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine. Alright.
Yahweh Shamil Shamil Shabbat.
This ends the service.